speak about this important aspect. Yesterday we launched it, but today I want to really give it more concretely, because this might come in interview and you have to practice it as well. Because when you say you have done internship and worked on real project, so then this knowledge is required as part of that, and which is how did you work with multiple environments. Okay, so let's just start. I'm opening up my paintbrush. Yesterday we already said a few things. Okay, so initially, let's say there is a dev environment called development environment, and then there is going to be multiple other environments. So you should say in your project there are these kind of 4 environments: dev environment, QA environment, stage environment, and production environment. Okay, that's it. Every environment is nothing but DevOps team ne some VPCs, some set of nodes, instances are running in every environment. That's it. Okay, so just dev. Let me make it a bit bolder, bigger. Okay, 12. Okay, dev, QA, stage, and prod. Now, so project to project, the situations might keep differing also. Okay, some people might have a closed production environment, or in production they might have like multiple availability zones, zone A, zone B, and the deployments might change that as well. मतलब बहुत कुछ होता है. Okay, project to project they might have a different way of implementing these things, blue green deployments, this, that. There are a lot of terminologies, but you keep it simple. Okay, you're beginners, don't try to confuse yourself with too much things. Okay, fine, there are multiple environments. Every environment, these are infrastructure environments, nothing but all these 4 environments are residing in AWS. Okay, next, developers like you guys, while you are doing your dev testing, okay, so developers will be doing the dev testing in the dev environment. Okay, next, testers is going to do the testing and sign off. Okay, it is also called as QA sign off. Testers are also called as QA members. Okay, quality analyst or quality assurance something. So QA sign off. Okay, testers or QA sign off. QA sign off is like they test the feature, compare it against the user story requirement, and if everything is fine, they will finally say yes, the feature is good. If something is not working as expected, they will give you bugs. Right now, let's even discuss how you will be fixing the bugs. Okay, fine. So QA basically is going to do the testing, okay, and does the sign off. They will do it on the QA environment. Okay, next, UAT is where the stage environment or UAT is going to happen, user acceptance testing. Before you go to production, you deploy it for UAT purpose. We might be a separate team, or majorly here the product owner. So yesterday we said Andreas is a product owner. So the product owner is going to do some high level testing before he approves the feature for going to production. This is what you can call it as the UAT process. Okay, the team has fully developed it, and after that the team is deploying that changes onto the stage environment, and the product owner tests it here. That is the UAT process, user acceptance testing. Before we really give to the end user, our internal users are testing it, and that is like maybe the same product owner was doing the testing in the UAT environment, and we had a separate environment here where he was doing the testing. Okay, fine. And then finally, we give it live to the end customers, the people, end customers, the live, real world people, real world users. Okay, and this one you can say these guys are working with the production environment. Okay, and by that way, this is required because one feature will be running in production. By that time, the team is working on the next set of features. So something else will be in development, something else will be in QA. So based upon the process of the industry, all these environments will be completely occupied and they will be doing their own jobs. Okay. Now the thing is, in order to work with these environments, you need to work with right branching structure. Okay, so far the full 4 weeks I did not get too much into the branching structure. We kept it simple. From master branch, create a feature branch. Okay, and that kind of basic understanding is required because you guys are just starting. So at least you should get that thought process. So everything should not go in master. There has to be a differentiation between feature branch and master branch. When you get into your life project, one of the target which you should do is understand how your branching model is in the project which you will be hired for. Understand how the branching model is and how do you work with these testing environments. You need to understand, because project these things might be different. To say that as part of this internship or in your project you were aware of this, just go in for that in your company and ask them, okay, so like can you just give me a quick overview how the branching model is and how do we deploy it on environment, and somebody in the team will explain you the process. Okay, fine, and just work with them to really set it up, and accordingly you can get started. But you need to understand the branching model. Okay, now the thing is, let's try to keep things a bit simple. We have the master branch. So far we have always seen there is a primary master branch. Okay, and from this master branch we have a feature branch currently, let's say F1, and then we were working and we just said is a pull request to merge the code from this feature branch to the master branch, and so on and so forth. Now the thing is, in IT industry there are very well-defined branching models, not just with master and feature. There might be more chains also defined of how the branching should be. Okay, for example, there will be, okay, like again, project to project, some people might follow a different. I'm talking about a standard which is even followed by companies like Microsoft and other places as well. Okay, now the thing is, from the master branch, okay, you say that in your project there was another branch called as integration branch. Okay, integration branch. And from the integration branch you guys were cutting the feature branches. Way of working with the branches is the same what you have already done with master and feature. But the thing is, say that in your project you were not cutting the branches directly from master, rather from the master there was another branch cut called as integration branch. The name of the branch was integration. Next, from the integration branch you were cutting features. Feature 1. Now let's say parallelly 2-3 people developing their code together. So then there is a feature 2, there is a feature 3. Okay, and all these branches are cut from integration. Nothing but you will go to the bid bucket, and from there, from integration you will cut feature branch. Next, from integration you will cut feature 2. From integration you will cut feature 3, and then you start working on this feature branch. You already know how to do this. Just the thing is, source and destination, instead of choosing source as master, choose the source as some other branch integration. And if you don't know where is integration, initially create a branch. From master, create integration branch. Then from integration branch, create these feature branches. Is this clear, guys? Is this clear, or do you really need to even see it? कि कैसे करते हैं in Bitbucket? Okay, create branch feature. You just have to choose the right source and destination. Is it clear how to do it? Okay, thanks. Thanks for saying, confirming, Poonam, Mubasir. Okay, Ibrahim. Okay, we have done it. Very good. Now, very good. Thanks. Thanks for confirming, Farooq, Swapnil. If you're not aware of that, think. Okay, कि कैसे master to feature we did. Abhi from master, instead of feature, let's cut a integration branch, and then from integration cut the feature branch. It's just a process. Fine. Now the process is there for a reason. Okay. Now let's just understand. If you are working on these feature branches, feature 1, feature 2, feature 3, while you are doing your development, okay, for doing the full end-to-end testing, you might, yes, whatever is possible to test in local, you test in local. Okay, but otherwise, if you want to test it into the infrastructure, okay, For that case, you have to deploy your changes from local into this kind of an infrastructure. Let's say feature branch, if you're a developer of this, you are basically going to connect to the dev environment and deploy it here. Okay, so this feature branch changes. Now, let's think about it together. What is happening? Visualize with me. Yesterday we said it's a 7-member team. Now, everybody might be working on different features, but this is a common dev environment where the entire team is having access to the common dev environment. So if you want to deploy your feature on this environment, okay, ideally only one service can run here at one time on that port. Okay, so maybe you can just tell the other two people, F2 and F3, whoever are the developers of this feature, you can simply tell them, for the next maybe 2 hours, I am testing on the dev environment. Please don't override the changes. What is override the changes? Yesterday we said the jar file which you have written, let's say in your IDE, you have written some code, there is a jar file, right? Finally, after building it, the jar file which you have written, you have your code only in your local machine. That code is not going to be with feature 2 and feature 3 developers. So you have built your jar, you have deployed it on the dev environment, and now you're doing the dev testing here. Okay, same thing like Postman se call kar rahe ho, you are checking the logs, is it all working, positive case, negative case. On the environments, you are checking it because ActiveMQ, Redis, RDS for the environments will be different. So you just want to see whether all those things are working properly. For that, you are actually trying to deploy it in dev. Now, while your code is not committed anywhere, it's only in your local jars. When you are doing that testing, you need to get the confidence, okay? You need to get the confidence that other people are not deploying their changes here. So basically, this F2, F3 people are not deploying. So do some communication within the team. Now, for the next 2-3 hours, I will be using this. So please don't deploy anything here. So once my testing is done, I will confirm it. Then you can change or override these jar files. Okay, simple aisi baat karke you just talk it through and then do that. Now, likewise, the developer, and guys, the point is, it's like what? One lead, 2 mid senior developers, 2 interns, and we have 10 days. Different features will be in different development stage. Sometimes one person is still doing the designing, still writing the data structures. He's not yet ready even for testing. Some guys are still doing the coding. So if you see it practically, everybody gets their time because the team size is pretty small. Okay, it is very small team size, like 3 people, 4 people. They will get their own slots to do their own testing, and just doing the coordination, people can do that. Okay, now there are cases where project size grows pretty big. Okay, and maybe there are many people working on the same release, same features. Then a lot of these Docker containers and parallel testing and those things will be coming up. But when the scale is really big, then if they are all competing to the same development environment, that model will not work. But it will work for you because your team size is small, the way we discussed it yesterday. Okay, so for you guys, yes, this worked in the sprint. That is why you can confidently say this. For bigger teams, this model will not work. So IT solutions are specific to the problem which you are in. Okay, there is no one right way of solving it. Maybe implementing all this full big Dockers and Kubernetes system will be an overhead for this kind of a project because the scale is not that much big right now. So people are happy to live with it. Just roll the business, get to production, give it to live customers. That is fine enough. When the scale grows, team size really multiplies like 50, 100 people, they're all competing for releases, business should grow that much. Then this system needs to evolve. And then there are other solutions which we have to figure out and then put it in the project. So get this kind of clear-cut clarity. IT solutions are specific to the problem which you are in. Unnecessarily complicated solutions are not required for simple problems. Okay? So it might not be the best solution, but it works for our current situation, and that is where people will say, let's go ahead with this. So thoda sa for making these decisions, maturity is required. Okay, and generally juniors take some time to get to this, and that's what is experience. With experience, you will make right decisions, even though that might not be the best decision, but you know that it is the right decision to be taken right now, and that comes with maturity and experience. Okay, so thoda sa, yes, be aware of that. And you will pass through this journey as you're growing up your IT career. But just be aware, solutions are specific to the problem, not overcomplicated, not under, to the right match to the problem. Okay, fine. Now, the point is, let's say all these people worked with the feature branch, coordinated with one another, and then did the testing. Okay. Now, the next step here will be one by one, they will say, hey, I have done the testing, everything is looking good. Now, I want to give my feature for testers to test. Okay. I want to give the feature for testers to test. How do you do that? Okay. First of all, Jira will be continuing along with this. Okay. Let me just show it to you. Multiple things साथ में करने पड़ेंगे. Okay. So you will be having, let's say, Jira. So in Jira, let's say you're working on feature one task. So there will be a Jira board which talks about the current progress of the people. Okay. Right now, there is no sprint active. That is where it is like this. Okay. Let me just quickly start something. Okay. Sprint is where you do the coding change. I've added a task. Okay. Task added, starting the sprint. Okay. Whatever the name. Let's say this is your work. This task, देखो, again, thing is, yes, you will do your coding in your ID and everything, but everybody in the team should know what is happening with your task. And for that, you need to log in into Jira and do the updates here so that it gives the visibility even to product owner. Yesterday, we said that Andreas, product owner, is sitting in Denmark. He cannot keep calling you 10 times to ask you what is the status, when are you giving to tester, when will the testing be completed. He cannot ask you all those questions. You need to update all that in the Jira kind of tool. Okay. And when you do that in Jira, okay, so automatically the statuses will talk about what is happening to your work. And that is where Jira updates are important. So now let's say you did all your feature testing, you did everything. And first of all, to-do state means you have not yet started working on feature. So if you have not started working on feature, then only your task should be in to-do state. Whenever you start developing the feature, immediately move this item from to do into in progress, and then you start doing your testing. Everything now comes here, whatever you have done, the coding, deploying onto the environments and all of those things. So Jira ka status has to be further linked up here, and then together you take care of this thing. Fine. And once the feature is done and you're saying, now I want to give it to the QA, please understand, your feature branch cannot be straight away given to the testers for testing. The reason being, your individual feature is not going to go to production. Okay, for that sprint, let's say for this sprint is like in the 2 weeks, people will work on the features. There is one task with you. There is another task for somebody else. There is third task also. Now, the point is, as part of this 2 weeks, the tester is supposed to test all the 3 tasks, then give the sign off for this release item, not individually. So even if, now understand the statement carefully, even if you give your feature branch for tester to do the sign off, and even if he gives the sign off, there is always going to be risk. When these two people will merge their code with you, they might accidentally delete any of your code, because code merges may problems might happen because there is a lot of manual thing happening there. When these two people are merging their feature to you centrally, the code has to go together. There will not be 3 deployments. The code done by this person, this person, this person has to be merged together. And that is where the tester will say, for this sprint, 3 features are there. I'm not going to keep testing features independently. Merge this code together in one place and give me that one place. then only I am confident that your feature is working properly, because from this common place itself, it should be given to the stage environment and then to the production environment. So try to understand. Feature developments will happen separately in feature branches, but testers will be like, they keep an eye on release. For this sprint, 3 features are required to be finished. So merge them together into one place and give me that for testing. And then only I can give, because देखो guys, क्या होता है? Everybody is doing their job. If some features break in production, the first person to be caught is tester. Okay, how did you give sign off for this kind of a feature? It's not working in production. Testers, if for serious bugs, testers can even lose their jobs. Okay, because they were not able to test it properly, their quality was bad, live customers were impacted. Problem. If developers, and then it will come to developers also, sabki lagti hai when things go wrong. Okay, guys, now this is really interesting. Okay, I don't know how many of you okay, I don't know whether you should even experience this or not. Okay, but I've seen something really very closely for one of the project I was involved in long time ago. Okay, there was a penalty on the project of 1 crore 30 lakhs. Okay, 1 crore 30 lakh ka penalty aaya because some developer did not handle some error code properly. Because of that, in the production environment, wrongly the money was deposited into somebody's account, and 1 crore 30 lakh ka penalty came from the client, and they said ki, okay, now your team has to somehow take care of this stuff. And ho gaya, jo bhi, whatever, the business takes care of whatever. But yes, such cases might impact jobs also, might impact a lot of things as well. So be aware of how you code. Make sure that all edge cases are covered, positives, negative, test and everything properly, because IT mein time pass khel to nahi kar rahe, right? We're doing our jobs there. So get serious about it. And that is where QA is not going to give you sign off on your feature branches. They will be like, okay, merge your code together, because if something goes wrong, let's say we sign off your feature, but when these guys are merging to you, if they delete any of your code, it will not work. And then you will say, okay, hey, this QA has done the sign off, so it is supposed to work now, but somebody else override. So we are not going to take that responsibility. You give us one final version of code and then deploy it into our QA environment. We will do the testing here. And this one place where the code is going to be merged is the same thing, integration branch. That is where it comes. Okay, आ गया भाई इसका color. Okay, this is the integration branch itself, and that is the reason they cut the branch from features, work on the features. When you want to give it to the tester, you merge it back to the integration branch. So feature 1 will be merged back to integration, and that is where pull request comes in picture. You have already seen that. Pull request. This is where the code review is going to happen, where your seniors will be checking what code you are trying to give to the tester for testing. And if they have some feedbacks, they will not be merging it. They will give you feedbacks. You make those changes, you do the testing again, and then you again merge it back to integration. By that way, all these feature branches will be centrally merged. Code review process will happen here. And once that is done, then this code is going to be deployed onto the QA environment. Again, like we discussed yesterday, a separate IP node for this, a separate IP node for this, and then it goes to QA. QA does the testing, and once, this is how simple process. Now, once QA does the testing, he verifies all the 3 features for that sprint. Okay, and now how you have to do is again relinking it. When you are saying, I am giving it to tester for testing, you have to make sure that your code is merged to integration and deployed onto QA environment. If these 2 things are done, when it is actually available for QA testing, then you should move this item from this to this state. Otherwise, what will happen is, now QA works, he sees that there is a task in the QA. That means, okay, the developer has fully finished his job and this feature is available for tester for testing. if it is not merged, if it is still in code review process, if it is not yet deployed, there are two things: build, code review, and deployment and service restart. Once the full process completes, then only you should move this item from in progress to QA, not before that. Why? Because as soon as you move it here, and let's say you have not even deployed on QA environment because it's still in code review, then tester might just go ahead on the QA environment. They will do the testing. They will say, hey, this bug is not fixed, and they will just file a bug for you and just cancel this task, saying it's not yet open, the feature is not working. So be very careful. Before moving to QA, the item should already be merged to integration, code review done, merged to integration, and then deployed on QA. Then only you move it here. And then they do the testing. If there are bugs coming up, okay, they simply do this, create, okay, a bug. That's it. They will simply do this, create a bug in the to-do status saying, let's say, RSA is not working as expected. Okay. And maybe they will just give some scenario. This went wrong, that went wrong, blah, blah, blah. And then they will add some description. They will add some screenshots of what they were expecting, but what is actual. And they will just put all this. And then they will assign it to the developer who was working on that. If they don't know the developer, they might just give it to the technical lead, so that technical leads will assign to whoever the person is responsible. Okay. And once this is all done, okay, sprint, it needs to be tagged to the right sprint. So they will add it to here. Okay. And then they will be creating it. Right. So by this way, the tester will do the testing of this feature. Okay. And they might just create another bug. And also they might just say, hey, this bug is not like, I have raised a bug. This is not yet on QA. They will move this feature back into the in progress section, saying, hey, right now I cannot retest it. First you fix this bug, then only I will take this feature back for testing. And then they will be moving it back. So by this way, there will be transparency in the system. Okay, right now the features are where it's not with QA, because QA is not testing it anymore. They put it back on the developer's plate. Okay, you first take care of this item. Once you're done, then you move it back again to QA. By that way, there will be clarity. Okay, where the feature is taking more time. Is the tester taking more time for testing, or is the developer is having so many bugs that the task is staying here only? Then the problem will start coming out. That is where this Jira reporting is important. And now let's say, fine, you started working on that, and then you come, you move it here. You do your entire testing, again code review happens, and once both of these two things are done, you feel okay, yes, everything is fine, now I can give it further. Then you move the item from this state, give this also to QA, and give this also to QA backup, and then your work is done. Okay, now the thing is, how do you, or where do you fix these bugs? Now the point is, when you are working in the QA environment itself, you can fix the bug on the same feature branch, but you need to always make sure that the latest integration branch is daily down merged into your branch, because other developers might also keep merging. So this is an important statement. Okay, daily down merge the parent branch into your feature branch, so that you're always working on top of the latest copy. If you don't do this, end mein bahut problem hoga, because a lot of concerns will happen. So daily down merge it, and then from feature branch, okay, you can fix the bugs here, and then maybe again raise a merge request, and then it will go. Okay, that's one way of doing it. Okay, somebody else might say ki don't use your feature branch, rather from integration branch cut a different branch called as bug branch, and then merge the feature there, put it back to integration. That is another way of handling. Now understand in your project which one they are recommending, but both of them works, because this feature is still under development, under testing. So you can keep this branch open with you, fix the feature here, raise a code review here, and then accordingly merge it back, and then move it into this environment. and then give it back to tester. Now the tester does the testing again. He says, okay, now this bug is closed. And then he tests this again. If there are more bugs, they will again file more bugs. Then again, from your feature branches, you start working on those bug fixes because you know it is related to what feature. If you don't know the bug is related to what feature, then maybe from integration, you have to cut a different bug branch and then fix the bug there and then merge it back to integration. And from integration, give it back to the QA. And this is how the work is going to continuously happen every single day all throughout the sprint. And finally, the QA says, now everything is fine. These two bugs are fixed and this is also taken care. Guys, did you understand this? Because this is important stuff. Let's confirm it in chat because this will happen on a daily basis. Creating bugs, moving the bugs from this state to that state, coding it on the right branch, building the right branch, testing the right branch, code review. This is going to be your day-to-day activity. Okay, thanks. Thanks for confirming. Pranali, Chetan, Muni Prasad, Farooq, Rangaswamy. Okay, Ibrahim. Good. Okay, next. How to down merge? Same. You can raise a pull request and it will like pull request from master to child and it will be actually coming up with a down merge option. Okay. Plus on the source tree also you can do a down merge. Okay. On the source tree also you can do a down merge. Let's say here you are, you can simply click here in master and this branch, you can right click here and just say merge. So the code automatically comes. So there is way of doing it in source tree also, plus there is way of actually just raising the pull request and getting it in the cloud as well. Both the options are available. Okay. Okay. So by this way, up merging, down merging will happen. Now let's move on further. So the point is, this is how the full testing will go. Then yahan jayega. For 2 weeks, the full target of the team will be the scrum master, tech leads, all the members. The full target will be how every single item which is in the to-do state should be moved into the done state with bug fixes, with everything. That is the target. For 2 weeks, people will just play with this to move items from this place to this place. That's it. And once the full work is done, you say, okay, so we finished all these features as part of this sprint. Now we want to give it to demo to the product owner. This is agile happening. We want to give a demo to the product owner and then we will be opening this feature for UAT. And that is going to happen here. Maybe you can give a demo. It completely depends. Some people give the demo on the QA environment itself. Or some people deploy it on stage and then give the demo on the stage environment. But again, there is a catch here. Okay, thoda sa, okay, let me not explain it in detail because it might confuse you because it might confuse you. Let's keep it simple. Okay, so point is, as soon as the sprint is finished, we want to give for UAT. Now, just know your clarity. Let's say today is the last day of the sprint, end of 2 weeks. Let's say today you give the demo and from Monday onwards, 9th of October, you want to open these all features for UAT purpose. But you need to understand, when the item is in UAT, the technical team is not going to do time pass and chilling. Immediately you give the items for UAT and your next development sprint starts, which is going to be 9th October to 20 October. Nothing but in between breaks are not there. Maybe one day, half of a day here and there will come, but otherwise sprint by sprint continues. So if one sprint finish started from 25th of September and it is going to end at 6th of October, immediately next Monday, second sprint starts 9th of October to 20 October. Once it is done, next sprint from 23rd October to 3rd of November, and these 2-week cycles will keep continuously running all throughout your year. What does this mean? On 9th of October, 2 things are going to happen. One is your features will be opened for UAT for testing, and at the same time, you will be starting the development of the next sprint item. Now, you need to have a bit clear-cut thinking here. Okay, let's say next sprint May, there are 2 more features coming. Okay, which is feature 4. Be with me because here it might get a bit Okay. For the next sprint, you are working on these two features, feature 4 and feature 5. But this feature 4 and feature 5 is not for the current release production. It is going to go after the next sprint. Current release में only these 3 features are supposed to go. That's it. Current release में only these 3 features, feature 1, feature 2 and feature 3, only these 3 are supposed to go. But you have started developing even for feature 4 and feature 5 from 9th of October onwards. Okay, and maybe you finish one of a feature just on 9th, and you might be like, now I want to give it for tester for testing. Maybe in one day you finish something, and then you might end up merging this code back to the integration. But thoda sa try to understand here, you might finish your code, and IT wants a process where if work is done, you give it further. You don't wait for your releases to happen. So things have to be like now. And now, if feature 4 is merged back to integration, basically, if integration is given for UAT, your next release code will go in the integration and might go in production. So we cannot take the integration branch forward. Okay, so integration branches till the end of the sprint. That's it. You develop features, you QA sign off, you merge it into integration. Once if it is all done, for opening for stage, you cut another branch from integration branch, which is called as a release branch. Because integration branch may upcoming next sprint related items might also start merging. So you cannot really take integration forward. You need to cut a different branch on the last day. Let's say today, 6th of October, a new branch will be cut from integration branch called as release branch. And this release branch is going to be deployed onto the stage environment for UAT purpose. And this release branch is cut on the right day where only F1, F2, F3 features are there in this, not F4 and F5. Even if you merge these to the integration branch, they will never be merged to the release cycle, because you need to be careful which feature will be going to production, what time. For that, this kind of a branching model is required. Guys, is this clear? Because this is important stuff. If you say you have worked on real project, then you need to have good understanding about how these things happen. Because not able to know this may confusion ho jayega and project mein काफी problems will come through. Just confirm it, guys, if you understood what